Welcome back to the locker room in the sky, baby. The boys are mile high. Oh, and we got a guest for you. We have a absolute beauty on the pod today. We go way back, just over a decade now. And here we go. Welcome, Britni. How are we?
How are y'all? Sorry,
Oh.
This is starting to set in Atlanta, so it's coming at a weird angle.
You're okay.
It's like a little halo next to you. That's awesome.
Angelic right now.
Yeah. It's fitting for the pod. It's an angelic podcast.
Hell yeah. No. You're in Georgia now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta right now. So I live, I guess like what everybody calls Midtown, that area, if you're familiar.
No.
And I'm in a small part of town called Inman Park. So I'm right on like a thing we call the Beltline. It's an old railroad track that was made into a walking path here in the city. I forget how many miles it is now, but it's just right next door, and there's tons of bars, restaurants, and everything on that.
Oh, it's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it's not bad location, and then to the airport, it's only like a 15-minute drive when it's not
perfect.
Out, so.
Without the traffic, I assume.
Yeah, I typically go to the airport for work at like 5 a.m., so there's definitely no traffic then.
That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Oh yeah. You saying, Sova?
No, I was just gonna say, like I hate traffic. I have to drive in traffic every day for work, or Tuesday through Thursday. But that's enough about me.
No, I was gonna say you just moved too, right, Britni?
Yeah, I just moved back to Georgia from Boise, Idaho. I went out there for 7 months for a little bit change of scenery. So, yeah.
Were you in Atlanta prior, or like suburbs, or?
Yeah, I lived in Atlanta like right after college for about 6 years, and then when I went to the airlines, I just kind of moved home essentially, but I was never home since I was out flying.
Right.
And sorry, this light is bad, but yeah, I was living an hour south last summer where my parents live, where I grew up. And that, talk about a drive, an hour drive to the airport. And then when you're tired finishing a trip, having to drive back home was annoying. So
that can't be fun.
Back in the city and close, but do miss Boise because that was a blast out there.
I've heard it's beautiful out there.
Yeah, it was amazing. I chose there over Denver because it had like a milder climate and just like a smaller town.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
The climate?
Yeah, we still had a pretty good snowstorm this year. It was like the most snowfall in the past couple years they had in January, but they don't get like the random snowstorms and everything that Denver does because it's in the valley more so than Denver, like right off the mountainside.
Gotcha.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
So,
I'm saying that makes sense. I couldn't tell you where Boise is exactly.
It's like central Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like western Idaho.
Honestly. But it's like that part where it's like it's like just off the skinny part, like as far as
towards the bottom, and then to the left if you're looking at a map.
Yeah,
and it's the capital. A lot of people don't know that, so
that's pretty cool.
Well, fun fact right there. Little tidbit.
Tip of the day.
Fun fact of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
You want to start some pilot questions? Or anything else beforehand?
Yeah, I actually have a lot of really good pilot questions. Do you enjoy when kids want to come into the cockpit and like talk to you?
Yeah, I actually do. If I'm busy and the flight attendant invites them up, sometimes I wish they would have just asked me so I wouldn't like turn around being like, what do you want? Because that has happened a couple times.
And there's just like a little kid there.
Before I hear the little kid, so then I like turn around and feel bad. But yeah, when they come up, we'll let them take photos. We have a switch. It's called a lights test, and all the lights in the flight deck, we can turn them on. And so like, cool. Watch this, and their eyes just light up because it looks like a Christmas tree lighting, just like how many lights come on. So, and then they go and sit down.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, and usually we'll tell them if they come up during boarding, we'll tell the parents if they'd like photos when we land to come up to like be the last ones off the plane, and they can come take photos, and I'm in probably 1,000 different people's phones for photos.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
popular.
how long you been a pilot for?
So I started flying at 17, but professionally 6 years. Yeah, I
That's
had my
impressive.
private when I worked at camp, so and all through college.
That's so cool.
How do you get that?
I just asked my dad for flight lessons, and he let
Is
me
he
do
a
it.
pilot?
No, I'm the only one that flies in my family.
Do you guys just have a plane then, or like?
No,
You
I
just
just had an instructor and flew
That's
every
so cool.
Wednesday. Yeah.
That is really cool. Yeah, I have a friend that has his private license. His dad's a United pilot, so
Okay.
yeah, so they have like a little Cessna.
Yeah.
But that is so cool. Like just getting into that, it must have been like so exhilarating the first time you flew. Like, what was that experience like?
Ooh, that was just to age me a little bit, 15 years ago, by the way. So almost half my life. I mean, it was exhilarating. I remember my first solo more than like my first flight. And the day we did it was like a cloudy, like kind of rainy day. And my instructor went up and flew, and I'm like, why is my mom coming to the airport today? Because she never came to the airport to watch me fly. And she came that day, and didn't see that they had the camcorder set up or anything. And so I was like, something's up since she's here. And then I went and soloed. And my mom and I actually had to change shirts because I don't know if y'all know this, that when you solo, the tradition is to cut the back of your shirt off and you like write on it like your name and the plane you had just flown for your first solo.
That's so cool.
People like hang it and like get it framed. So we actually exchanged t-shirts before my solo because I wore like a nice outfit that day and she just wore a normal t-shirt. And so yeah, luckily she did go because otherwise I would have not had a good shirt to cut.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No way. I'll say too. Like I have like question. Like, so you fly for Southwestern?
Yeah, Southwest. Yeah.
South. Oh shit! Stay hot, Jarrod. Stay hot.
Come on.
I like rarely fly Southwest because there's never a lot of flights from like on the East Coast here for like New York, South Carolina, Florida. It's always like JetBlue, Delta, or American.
Yeah.
Let's say it's like
we do fly in Myrtle Beach, but I don't know if we necessarily do like a LaGuardia to Myrtle because we don't fly into JFK at all.
Shit.
Yeah.
What about islip? You do islip though.
Yeah, we do islip. So I've actually never gone in there at all with Southwest. But I've done Myrtle Beach quite a bit. Not necessarily with Southwest, but with my previous airline. And then
Where'd you work before Southwest?
A regional called Endeavor.
Oh, okay.
It was based here in Atlanta as well. Yeah.
They're are they Delta owned?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I flew on a hopper.
I fly Delta a lot, and like a lot of their flights are just operated by Endeavor.
Endeavor. Yeah.
I flew one of those hoppers from Atlanta to Myrtle not too long ago. I was like, what if I get Britni? But it wasn't Southwest.
No, not me.
That's funny, yeah.
Have you ever flown and like you bumped in like you're like flying the plane and like one of the passengers like is like, yo, it's Britni, like
no, I haven't had that yet.
I'm gonna start booking every Southwest flight.
I've had friends ask me like if I'm doing this flight that day because I'll actually be flying that day, but I would have just left Atlanta or was just going to a different airport. But I've like run into friends at the airport before, met up with them. And then my sister's on my benefits. So I've flown her, like she had a day where she could come fly with me to an airport. And then I flew her back to DC when she was living up there. So she was actually able to like come fly on the plane I had been on.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
You're free everywhere right now, right?
Yeah, I can. It's called, do y'all know what that's called?
Jump seat, right?
Yeah, jump seating.
I watched what's it called? Catch Me If You Can, like probably 20 times. So I I got very invested in how that all worked, but more the illegal aspect of the movie than like the actual airplane part of it.
Yeah. So the thing about jump seating though is if I'm doing it what we call offline, it's not a Southwest flight, I'm not guaranteed to get that seat because if one of their pilots shows up, like they get the priority
Right.
over me. So I've honestly never really had that happen. You kind of know like your odds going into it before you get there. And then I've had it where I'd never make it on a flight non-revving. So it just depends on the loads and everything. Like making it to New York from Atlanta, if I'm trying to go on Delta, is nearly impossible.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's one of the hardest ones to get on. So
Yeah.
so many people commute up there from this area because they either can't hold Atlanta yet or their seniorities that are up there. So it just I would never try to non-rev up there, and I just avoid New York City since I've seen too much of it. So
That's
no
fair.
offense.
That's fair a little bit.
I feel like there might be some stories around that.
No, it's just because Endeavor, all we did was fly in and out of LaGuardia and JFK. So it's just like I'd rather stay out west flying and see other airports and cities.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
like you said with Delta, it's almost impossible. Like I don't know if I've ever. I remember the last time I was on a Delta flight that there wasn't a pilot in the jump seat there.
Yeah. Like I had to commute when I was in Boise to Vegas to work. And there's one day the flight was a completely full flight and there's a couple of us commuting down to Vegas to work. So every single jump seat and seat in that plane was taken.
Oh
So
wow.
both pilot jump seats, the flight attendant jump seats, like everything. So we were a packed house.
That's
And it's pretty tight up there if there's two of us sitting in the jump seat.
yeah.
Wait, is it jumping in the cockpit?
Yeah.
No shit, I did not realize this. That's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, ours, and it like depends on the aircraft type that you're on. So like the Southwest ones, most of our planes have two up front, and then like other planes have two or one. So it just depends.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Not off topic, but I was listening to there's like a podcast listening called Founders Podcast, and like goes and reads like biographies and autobiographies of books and like kind of gives his like analysis and like all the key points and takeaways. And he talked about how Southwest, the founder, I can't remember his name right now.
Oh, Herb Kelleher?
Yes, he ran this is the only airline that's ever been profitable, like long term. So it's just kind of cool to see. I don't know.
Yeah, we had like the longest run of profitability because we're still considered a young airline compared to like Delta, United, and American. We turned 53 years old on June 18th. Fun fact. Last week was Southwest's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's like we're still like kind of like a legacy airline, but we're not considered like one of the older ones because if you think about it, like Delta and United started as mail carriers. So they have been around since like the 20s.
Right.
20s, 30s. I don't really know like their exact years, but so it's like a little bit different where we started just strictly as passenger flights, business travel between. If you read this book, do you know the 3 airports we started our service with?
I didn't read the book. I listened to the podcast. I want to say it had to be in
I think I
one
know
was
this.
Do what?
What one was Texas?
Well, Texas was the state we started in, and
Yeah,
it was
that's
only
what I remember.
Texas cities that we flew between.
I would guess San Antonio.
Yeah, that's one.
Is it Dallas, but not DFW? It was wasn't the other one?
Love Field.
Love Field, yeah. And then was it Houston?
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe I didn't read the book. So that's like the spark notes right there.
Yeah, we those were our 3 major airports, and headquarters is in Dallas.
And then isn't Maryland? Maryland's also a big hub for you guys, right?
Yeah, we have a base there in Baltimore.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have I think we have 12 now.
12 hubs?
Yeah, 12 bases. So we have Atlanta, Baltimore, Orlando. We just opened Nashville in May. We have Chicago Midway, Houston, Dallas, Denver, Phoenix, Vegas, Oakland, and LA.
Solid.
Yeah.
Some pretty major
So we
cities.
have we were supposed to be opening another base later this year or at the beginning of next year, but I think that is on hold at the moment.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can you tell us where?
They said, I mean, they haven't told us, honestly, but a lot of us are thinking either Kansas City or St. Louis.
Trying to get something a little bit more like northern Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No other airline really has a base in that part of the country either.
Yeah, I'd say probably other than Detroit or Chicago, there's not really many like major airports to go to up there.
No, like at one point St. Louis and Kansas City were like pretty big airports, and St. Louis was a base for like some airlines back in the day, but they like closed those bases.
You think also just because planes are just so much more advanced now, they can make those long trips from Chicago to you can get to New Zealand, Japan from Chicago now. You can get all the way to Eastern Europe too.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like I think some of these smaller airports like still do some international flights like not New Zealand, but they'll do like London or Paris.
Right,
Those are pretty popular too for the smaller places. So it just depends, I think, on what they see like passengers wanting. Because I know like Nashville, for example, it's a pretty big airport, but we own majority of it.
Yeah.
And so, but they have like one Paris and one London flight like a week. And like the same with like Raleigh Durham. It's not a base for anywhere. It's a small airport in North Carolina, and like there's a London and Paris flight out of there. So
yeah, I've seen that like CVG. I think they have a London flight every day now too.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's every day, but I think Delta does a London from CVG now.
Yeah, they probably, or it's like one of their partnership airlines that they have,
Yeah.
So yeah, Cincinnati. I was based out of there with Endeavor for a little.
Yeah, I fly there from like back and forth from New York for when I'm at school all the time. So yeah. I spent a lot of time.
I used to do that route a lot.
Yeah.
I have a question. Like when they're like, oh, like must stow your tray tables and having like earphone on airplane mode.
Gotta be a bunch of bullshit.
Does what?
Does like the airplane mode affect you? Like if we don't turn on airplane mode, like is that gonna affect you guys at all?
So they say it can interfere with like autopilot and stuff. That's technically an FAA regulation. It's not like a company specific regulation. It's the FAA. I think back in the day, like when phones were coming out and like using cell phone towers, it really affected it. I know there was issues when there was like the 5G coming out because like it affected our like approach systems like going into airports. They weren't as like reliable. So now turning it on airplane mode, I know I forget.
All right, I'm never doing it.
Yeah.
No,
I've had days where I'm like, oh, why is my watch going off? Because like I have an Apple Watch, so I'm like, oh, why did I get a text? And then like I look down and my phone's on because I forgot to put it on airplane mode.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it happens to the best of us.
All right, what about yes, I just put on shorts. I've been just sitting on my bed in my boxers this whole time. I'm currently about to leave to go for a massage, so
oh my god. Princess
I should probably put some clothes on, eh? So I have a question. So the whole put your seat up during landing situation. So I've noticed I've only ever actually I should say it like this. I've never been really reprimanded to do it if I'm sitting in first class.
Okay.
Like,
well, first of all, you sitting in first class and how, like at 20,
I
It's
never
crazy.
sniffed that front of the plane.
No, it's
except
only,
for
it's only if I get upgraded. It's only if I get upgraded. Yeah, I'm not booking first class tickets.
So the reason they want you to put the seat backs and tray tables up and not wear like a purse, a baby, or anything on your body is for in case you have to go out the emergency exits or like emergency evacuate. They just want like you to not have any like obstruction or like thing to get out. So like when that seat's reclined, like if you notice the person in front of you when they recline it, it does get a little bit in your way. But the way they've designed seats now is like the bottom moves versus the back.
Oh,
so,
right, yeah.
I mean, in first class, you should have no issues, though.
Yeah.
No,
You shouldn't have that
like I was
problem
just
in
wondering
first-
because like I got upgraded coming back from school for Thanksgiving, and
Mhm.
I was just asleep. Like no one told me to put my seat up, no nothing. And I was just like, I wonder if they're just like if the stewardesses are just, or flight attendants are just like dicks to people not in first class. Because I was like, whenever I'm not like, which is every time other than a handful, I'm like always like, no, like put it up, put it up, put it up. They'll like press the button for me if I'm not quick enough. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's just for like so nothing obstructs you having to exit in case there's an emergency.
All right, that's valid.
Yeah.
Um,
The whole airplane mode thing, I don't know why. I mean, honestly, you just don't want your phone battery to drain either. For me, I don't, if I'm a passenger, this is so bad. I don't turn it on airplane mode until we're on the runway taking off.
oh yeah, no, I don't put it on until like they start speeding up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I just don't let flight attendants see me texting because they are allowed to say something. So
Yeah, I mean, like, are they gonna like stop?
they're not gonna like search your phone and be like, "Show me it's on airplane mode." They'll just like remind you, "Hey, airplane mode, please."
No, that's fair.
Like yeah.
I feel
Do
like
you get worried? Oh.
But what? Get worried?
Yeah. Wait. So you can go ahead if you want.
Oh, it was kind of a nothing comment.
Do you get worried like when like you hit turbulence as like a pilot?
No, not really.
Like, do you just feel it in your? I don't want to call it a throttle or a steering wheel. Like, what would you call it? Like your, like
It's called a control column.
okay, like do you feel it in that while you're?
No.
Okay.
Because sometimes we don't know it's coming until y'all feel it too. Honestly, there's days where we're like, I'll look at the captain and be like, "It's supposed to be smooth," and he was like, "Yeah, I thought so too." So you never know. Like the sky will have not a single cloud, and it will be bumpy the entire 2 hours. So you just like never know what you're gonna get.
But it doesn't make you nervous at all.
I mean, there's some days where you have bumps, and like if I'm looking down and like or looking over at my iPad because we carry iPads up front that have all our visuals on them. If I'm like not looking at the instruments or like kind of not paying attention by doing that and we hit something, I'm kind of like it like startles me back to look up and make sure like that it is turbulence and not like losing an engine, like making sure everything's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or like a bird strike.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Well, moving on here. I mean, you've obviously traveled a shit ton because you're a pilot.
Yeah.
We've all been around. Jarrod a little bit more than others in some ways, but so what's our favorite?
Catch a stray there.
Had to, buddy. Had to. Speaking of airplanes, my dad just got back from the airport. So what's up, father? All right, top five. Are we doing top five, top three? I think top three makes more sense here.
Top three. Okay.
We can do five or four, three with an honorable mention.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do three with an honorable.
All right. Let's do three with an honorable mention, and then your least favorite.
Ooh, my least favorite.
So I'm gonna start off with.
That's the easy one for me.
I bet, yeah. I'm gonna start off with LaGuardia. I just fly out of it the most, and it's brand
Wait, is
new.
that your least favorite or favorite? Or what number is this?
Number 1. I'm going 1 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have to think like what makes you like it and like why you chose it as your top.
It's just
because I think we might have chose airports like based off of things.
So it's brand new.
It is nice.
Yeah, it's brand new. They have like Delta has its own terminal there. The like all the food is really good.
Oh no!
And I just think it's like it's just nice and clean, and that big mural they have in there too is really nice.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm gonna go with I think I'm gonna have to go with O'Hare here. And I've grown to like it a little bit. I think I'm liking it more because it's challenged me to become more swift through the airport. Like I like to get to the airport like kind of at the last minute. Almost, missing flights sometimes. So that's I've been trying to like get it down to a science like I have LaGuardia as. And then number 3, I'm gonna have to go with Heathrow. Just good throwback to when I was younger and we were living there. We'd bounce in and out of there a little bit. Honorable mention, I'm gonna have to go with White Plains Airport. Just
that is a nice one.
Local airport, easy. You can get there half an hour before if you're not checking a bag, and you're all set.
Okay.
You want to go for it, Brittany?
Yeah, so mine are based off different because obviously since I'm flying into them, like actually flying into them, I'm looking at like logistics as like a pilot going in versus like the passenger experience. So my number 2 is kind of a pain sometimes when it comes to logistics. So, but it's still one of my favorite because of the view. So my number 1's Atlanta. It's probably the most seamless operation like in the country, and I would say probably the world too. That's why it's the like busiest airport. Atlanta's just like very easy. Like a storm will pop up during summer and you still will be able to land. Like they're very minimal when trying to close down the airport for weather. Like they make everything work. My number 2 is San Diego. Logistically, it can be a nightmare going in and out. They usually do have what we call flow times where you have a certain time where you can take off and land. So, because they just are a one strip runway type deal. So then it gets pretty backed up sometimes when you're trying to taxi out and take off again. So San Diego's just like a really good challenge because like coming in on the one runway that they prefer to land, you come like right over the city and then like you're looking out at the water. So it's just like really beautiful to see. Number 3 is Salt Lake.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's very nice where our gates are. And if I'm staying the night in Salt Lake though is a pain because it's like 3/4 of a mile to walk from our gates to the curb. So it's a bit of a hike. Yeah. But other than that, I like the views because like when you're coming in, you're like descending with mountains and you have them on both sides. And then you have Great Salt Lake out in the distance that you can see. Honorable mention is San Francisco. They can also be a logistics nightmare, but I think it's cool how you usually come in over the water and the city is like right there and you see all the bridges. My least favorite is LaGuardia.
I hate LaGuardia.
LaGuardia's terrible. I've spent many times there sitting at the airport flying for Endeavor, and the food is gross to me. So that's funny that Jacob likes the food. Because I spent at like the Delta gates and I've spent a lot of time at the other gates. So like I've seen both sides. And I think the food actually on like where the Southwest gates are better.
The only not gate terminal at I don't know what Habasova, but the only terminal at LaGuardia I like is actually Spirit. because it's like the old
Oh,
one.
Well, I would like
Yeah.
to.
It's on the other side. There's never lines. There's no issues.
Yeah.
That's the one I like of LaGuardia. But otherwise, if you want to talk logistics, for coming from Long Beach, it's like an hour drive without traffic. If you hit traffic, could be a 3-hour drive during
Yeah.
rush hour. Nightmare. And the airport sucks. Like, it's so big. It's so crowded. It's like
Yeah.
all in North Queens. Like, it sucks.
The Delta gates too are just so spread out. I timed it one time on my watch from like the end of the 60 gates to the end of the like when
Like
you
the-
had to go over track
Yeah.
80
It's like
gates.
a 2-mile walk.
You're all
2
just
miles.
haters. You're both
I
just
did the walk.
haters.
I had
Trans-
plenty of time.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
So
terrible.
let me
So,
re-specify.
Those are my picks.
Let me
Mine,
just.
like, I
wait,
don't know
Jared.
enough about, like, the airports.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to plenty of airports, but I consistently have the same routes. So
Mhm.
I'm going Kansas City with number 1.
Dude, I like that's new terminal's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It was easy to get in and out. Like, I had no issues.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
fine
Jared.
with, like, I had my hockey bag, my golf bag, like, I had everything. And it
Mhm.
was smooth. So I'm going to go with that. Like, it was, as far as, like, big cities, it was, or not big cities, but, like, medium-sized cities, it was, like, easy to do. Like, JFK and LaGuardia were nightmares. JFK is not as bad. I found it's closer.
Jared.
Well,
So,
depending on the time of for JFK, like when you're trying to fly out, because if you hit the international push, you're gonna sit like out taxiing around for hours.
yeah. So, I don't really like, I mean, granted, that's where I grew up, and those are the 2 airports I know the most, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try not to use them. Honestly, my top 5 are not the best, but I'm going number 2, Myrtle. It's like basically like going to the train station. Like, there's no line, there's no nothing. You just
Yeah.
get in and out in 2 seconds. I'm gonna put that at 3 actually though. So 1 KC. I'm going number 3 Myrtle. Number 2, I'm gonna go PBI. It's kind of like a low key small airport. I haven't flown out of there in years, but
Yeah, I
I have
haven't-
had no issues out of it.
Yeah.
Um,
You might during summer, but
no, summer Palm Beach International would be empty.
well, just like pop up storms and stuff
Oh yeah. But I always used to go down like,
is issues sometimes.
yeah, I didn't think about that. But I haven't had any issues. Granted, I haven't flown there in a while.
I haven't been in a while either.
And my honorable mention, I'm gonna go Fort Lauderdale. I used to live down there. Never had any issues coming down there. It's
Lucky.
pretty. What?
That's lucky. I've had issues where like we sit there for hours waiting to take off because of weather.
Yeah.
You also fly a
Whenever
lot more than me, so.
I'd flown out of Fort
I didn't
Lauderdale,
fly much at all growing up, really. I used to fly to New York to Florida.
Yeah.
That was the only route I flew.
Yeah, I did Atlanta, Pittsburgh all the time. And that was pretty
yeah.
much
Can
it.
you guys just
Yeah,
not?
and I'm putting LaGuardia as my
blatantly
worst
ignoring
because I cut, like, terrible drive there. Like, you're hitting traffic there. If you don't get there early, you're, like, screwed. Even TSA pre-check. I have pre-check, and I'm
Mhm.
still running into issues. Like,
Yeah.
the baggage, like, if they messed up my boarding pass, I had to wait in the customer service line for, like, an hour. Like, it was just, I don't like LaGuardia. And it's in, like, it's all the way fucking up there. Unless you have the Spirit airline, which I don't fly Spirit unless I absolutely have. It's the only flight. Like, Myrtle doesn't fly a lot to New York unless it's Spirit or, like, there's rarely Southwestern. There's a lot of Delta, but
Yeah.
the times are, like, 1 a day. So, like, when I'm working, I can't fly, like, the 11:30 a.m. flight. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I get stuck on, like, the late Spirit flight.
That
But-
might cancel.
What do you say?
That might cancel.
Yeah, I get so worried on flights usually. I never used to, and like when I started flying solo, like I just get in my own head. I'm like, I'm a mental midget when it comes to the flight. I'm like everything's gonna go wrong. And like the first time I flew to Myrtle, I didn't realize they go all the way out to sea, and they come back. I was like, it's over. It's been nice knowing everyone. I'm done. Or like turbulence, I'll get worried on turbulence, but I'm like, you know what? Like I can't do anything. Like if we're going down, we're going down. Like
Yeah. Turbulence won't take you out.
the landing, I've had some real roughs, especially Spirit. I give you a real rough landing sometimes.
I've had some rough landings. Some days I'm like, what is happening?
Oh
We
my
all,
god. I don't know. Like, should I be nervous about flying? Like, I feel like it's like safer than the car.
yeah, statistics say that flying is safer than driving. So
Well, that's because there's a shit ton more cars, so there's a lot more stats there. That doesn't mean, but like also, if I get into a car accident, it could be a little fender bender. If I get into a plane crash, it's not gonna be good.
too,
What do you say?
because like plane. So we call them accidents and incidents. Like an accident can be anything from like running off the runway to like actually crashing a plane. So just very minor things to the very catastrophic type things. So I guess like a fender bender to us is like running off the runway, but it's still considered like an accident. If that makes sense.
Okay.
And incidents are things that like shouldn't be happening but happen. So then they get investigated to see what the cause of that incident was.
Do you ever get worried on like the flight?
Not really.
Like, would
No.
there be anything that would worry you, or I
Mm-mm.
guess if the engine light starts like blaring, then that'd be an issue. But
No, it's
other
not.
than
I haven't had issues, so it's been pretty easy.
gotcha. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't really be worried than flying. I didn't fly a lot, and then like flying solo. Like when I'm flying with people, I'm just like talking and like whatever. I'm like whatever. Like it's like
Yeah, you have like a distraction.
yeah, and like oh, it's this kid Silva, but yeah. When I fly alone, I'm just in my own kitchen. Like it's like oh like I'll just spiral. I'm like oh little turbulence. Yep, that means the engine's going and this and that. It's like it's over, and I'm sitting like 34 like C. So it's like I'm all the way back there just.
You have it more like a better chance of surviving a crash from the back of the aircraft than the front.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take my chances either way on that. Um,
No, it's like been proven.
I believe that, but I think if we're crashing, I don't think I'm getting out either way. I might have a little bit better
I
chance.
have survived, so
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I
They
haven't gone first
probably
class like so far. What do you say?
they're probably not the same as what they were when they got on the plane, but they survived.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, I flew like a hopper to Charlotte from Myrtle, which is like maybe 20 minutes in the air.
Yeah, that's quick.
And I flew twice. One was I was in like 1A or 1B, which is not first class. It's still economy. It's like this still like that little tiny plane. I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
this is
they have
fake.
first class. That is first class on those.
Okay, it was the same price as 30. Actually, there's no 30. It was like 12 or something. Maybe like 15 rows. Like it was cozy.
Yeah, it was tight.
But like when I flew in the back of that too, which was like 16 maybe was the last row. And like it sounds like a lawnmower starting in the back there.
Because you're
What do you say?
you're by the engine on that plane.
Yeah, I didn't like the sound of it because it would just go because like it'll be like going hard at the beginning, and then it'll just taper off. We'll drop like 5 feet. I'm like, don't do this to me. I get like so worried.
It's like taking your foot on and off the gas.
No, I get that, but like they didn't have to like drop it 5 feet at the same time that they also like did that. So and then I'll just spiral. I'm like, I don't know. I think I should just not worry as much. I think it's all in my head.
Just have a drink at the bar before you get on.
Yeah, I should. I got the some like credit card where I have like the priority pass lounges, so I get lounge access. So like they'll give you like complimentary drinks, and I'll just go have like one or two quick little whiskey. That'll just take the edge off. But I don't know.
You can't drink in airports anymore.
Because you're a pilot, or because
Yeah, because like if I non-rev and have to list for the jump seat, I just don't want to risk it. So
or do you have to be like ready to like kind of do shit?
yeah, because if you fly in the jump seat, you're not allowed to drink
Gotcha.
because you're like a third pilot up there. So like if something goes wrong, you can tell them like, "Hey, this is wrong."
Mm-hmm.
You're like another set of eyes. So yeah,
That makes sense. What was I gonna say? With all these Boeing airplanes, does that make you nervous? Should I be nervous about all these Boeing issues?
no, I've been flying them for a year and a half. the issues that they had when like the Max was crashing and stuff has been fixed for a long time now. And I haven't seen that issue, like haven't heard about it for a while. I think right now Boeing's issue is more in-house with management and stuff
Aren't they
than
just not following procedure and they're not up to code with their planes?
yeah, but those planes haven't hit the line either. So like the planes I've been flying mostly have like been inspected by our own maintenance, I'm sure. So like we aren't like allowing these like botched aircrafts to come on
They're
either.
just like not putting up to code. So are you flying Boeing 787s basically?
737s.
737s?
Mm-hmm.
I've flown like Airbuses for the last like not that I'm not picking. It just they've been Airbuses every time.
Yeah.
But so do you have preference to flying like an Airbus versus a Boeing?
Well, I've never flown the Airbus, but Southwest only has the 737, so like that's all I'll see unless we get a new aircraft type. Like if I'm sitting in the back, I mean honestly, I just don't care what I'm on as long as I'm getting to where I want to go. Because usually I'm non-revving, so or jump seating. So as long as I just like get back to where I want to be, then I won't have like I don't care.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really haven't until the last like 2 years, even just this year alone. Like I really did not fly much, maybe once a year, twice a year at most. But
Yeah.
like in like beginning of June to like let's say April to like June, I took like one way because like I had connections too and stuff from Myrtle. I had like 12 flights in the span of like maybe like 20 days. I was like I'm in one.
I had 12 flights in the span of 4 days last week.
You're a pilot though.
Well, actually, I had 14 flights in the span of 5 days. And
Do you
two
get
of them,
nervous?
like I just flew in the back.
Wait,
Mm-mm.
all 14 were you just flying in the back?
No, only 2 of them I was flying in the back, but the other 12, I was operating them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So where are
And
you flying typically now? What do your routes look like now typically?
they change all the time, but like the last ones I was on, I had an overnight in Austin. We went from Atlanta to Vegas, San Diego, then Austin. And then the next day we spent the night in San Antonio. And then the third night we spent the night in Fort Myers.
Florida.
Mm-hmm. So
Gotcha.
it was all over the country. I'm not really sure. I have my line for next month. We call them your line. And I have most East Coast flying next month. So I don't prefer that, but it'll be fine.
How many days on versus off do you get typically in a month?
I'm off 19 days in July. And I'm only working 12.
Not bad.
This month I was off 18. And then last month I worked 2 trips and was off for like 45 days.
Not in a month.
Well, not in the month, but I was off from April like 18th all the way until like May 18th.
What?
Yeah.
How come?
I had a week of vacation in May and was able to drop trips that touched my vacation.
Do you like trade trips? Like, do you like text another pal like, "Hey, I'll trade you this one for that one"?
Yeah, we can do that. I've had a lot message me for my trips, and then I just don't pick back up because I like my days off. So,
you like what?
I like my days off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we can drop trips. We have a thing called what we call ELIT, which is I forget the technical name, but it's like company trying to like give away trips, but you can only grab that trip if you have a trip that you can trade with it, if that makes sense.
Do you like pick up an extra trip and make more money or no?
Yeah, you can. That's called open time. or you can snag it from somebody else trying to give a trip away, which is called trip trade giveaway.
Trip trade giveaway.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you either can keep like a trip, you can like say, hey, I want this trip and you take this trip, or you can just be like, I want to totally get rid of this trip.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Gotcha. How long are you off now? Like, you working soon or?
I don't go to work until July 3rd currently. I'm trying to move my schedule around still right now, so we'll see.
Gotcha. So what are you doing your off time now?
Yeah, so I've been off since last Thursday, I guess. So I have like over a week off right now, and what I'll do, I just started taking tennis lessons again. So I've been doing that. I've done it 3 times so far this week. I'm tired. I go to Orange Theory. I just do like the typical life. Like, it's summer here in Georgia, so I like to go to the pool and lay out. I did that earlier. It's been so hot here though. Like, I cannot stand it for more than like 2 hours.
So hot.
Yeah, dying. And then I don't really go to the grocery store, so it's not like I'm doing errands like that, but I'll go shopping.
Maybe you don't go to the grocery store.
I do home chef. So my weeks, like because I'm usually like only off like 3 or 4 days in between trips, or like 4 to 5. So I do home chef to deliver 2 meals. And then, I do 2 meals and it's like 2 servings. So I'll just like, it's kind of meal, like you cook and then like I have dinner for the next day. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I hate going to the grocery store. So.
Well, I love the grocery store.
Like, if I need like necessities like ketchup or something, I'll go to the grocery store, but I'm stocked up on like condiments because from the South we like condiments, so I'm stocked full of all that.
Oh, for sure. No, I go to the grocery store not every day. I go there a lot though. I probably go there every like 2-3 days.
Yeah, I had my days where I was like, because in Atlanta it just takes forever to get to the grocery store, so I was kind of tired of it. Because in Boise I would go to the grocery store like every day because I was like 5 minutes from it. Loved that grocery store too because it was also like it was called Albertsons and it was started in Boise. It's kind of like a Kroger.
That sounds familiar. I also have like I don't know if I've ever been to Kroger either. Like, it's so different all the grocery stores.
Yeah. And Albertsons was so nice, and like they had like a boutique section and just like different things. So like they had a bar in the grocery store.
That's not that uncommon. I've seen like Winn-Dixie's that have that. I've seen them Loves that have that.
Like Whole Foods have it now and stuff, but like that was
It's a
my
good
first
move.
time, a bar in a grocery store. And people like would go to that bar to just like hang out. And I'm like, this is weird.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But it was like a fun bar. So yeah, I kind of missed that grocery store, but the drive was easier, so I just go every day. And then here I'm like, I really need like a good list of stuff if I'm gonna go. So
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. You a big Nirvana fan?
No, it's just a nice sweatshirt. I was cold for some reason. I think I might have gotten sunburnt today.
Gotcha.
So I'm having like those chills.
Gotcha. No, I get that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been hot here too, honestly, here in South Carolina. It's just too hot. That's why I moved out of Florida. Fort Lauderdale was too hot.
Yeah. So you're moving back to New York, like home?
I'll probably go home for like a week, but yeah, I want to go back to my hometown of Long Beach and kind of live there.
Okay.
I miss it. I loved where I grew up, like everything about it, the beach town. It's a good bar scene for like young life. Here there's no young life here.
Retirement town.
What'd he say?
That's a retirement town.
Oh yeah, like it's all like mostly over 45, mostly over 55, honestly. There's not really any young like 20 or 30-year-old like working woman or men for really that matter. Not that that's what I'm into, but I just like in general, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very retirement type place, so.
Yeah.
It's exciting though. At least you ventured out for a little bit.
Yeah, I did 2 years.
Like.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like I've been on vacation for like the last like 6 years, like
Yeah.
since I haven't been home. Where it's like, oh, I'm ready to go home now.
Yeah. Will you have the same job when you go back?
So I just left the job I had,
Mm-hmm.
and so now I'm interviewing. I actually have an interview. I wasn't planning. I was gonna like take like a few weeks off,
Yeah.
but I have an interview on Thursday morning in Long Island, which is not tomorrow morning. Like we're recording Tuesday night. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll go back up like July 4th weekend, hang out there, and like figure it out from there. I was like, I have savings, like whatever, figure it out. And the interview is Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And I'm like, all right, like they just texted me today at like noon, but I've been my resume that I'm in New York. So I was
Oh,
like,
good.
fuck it. I just started packing today, but I'll be good to go. I'm gonna leave in like 8 hours. I'll probably leave like 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
How long of a drive is that?
Like 11 or 12 hours.
Oh, that's not too bad. I thought
Not
it'd
too
be
bad.
longer. No.
No.
It's better than 36.
Yeah, but that's gotta be a pretty drive cross country.
Yeah. Once you get past like Kansas City and Wyoming.
Yeah. Well, it's like I when I graduated college, we got in the car like Monday morning after graduation, and we just drove out to Colorado from New York. So like
Oh,
we're
wow.
hitting all this stuff. It's like super like so many cornfields in like Illinois, Indiana.
Yeah.
Um, I
And
don't
it's
know. We end up
flat.
in like it's so flat. It's crazy.
The worst state I ever drove through is Wyoming.
Wyoming really. I don't know, North Texas, like through Amarillo and like New Mexico, there's like nothing in like bumblefuck New Mexico.
Yeah, that's how Wyoming was. It was like every 80 miles was a gas station.
Yeah, I was like getting worried. Like I was like stopping every half. Like when I got to half tank, I'm like I'm stopping because I don't know when the next gas station's coming.
Exactly. And gas up there was like $7.
I mean, trying to deliver gas there is probably a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. It was so expensive. So
Oh
it was
my god,
nuts. It was like all Indian reserves around and stuff. So
no shit. I had like a what do you call the a tumbleweed? A tumbleweed got stuck to the front of my car. I was like, what is this, a movie? Like some Wild West shit?
yeah, they
Um,
were around all the time when I was out there. So that's
but
crazy.
did you like hike or like go to national parks when you're up in like Boise area?
I went hiking. One day, my friend and I went snow tubing because I'm not a skier or
Mm-hmm.
snowboarder. I mean, if I did a lesson, I would probably be fun, but I haven't skied since I was like 10. And so we went
Yeah.
snow tubing instead. But yeah, there's a lot of trails and there's just like a lot of good bars and everything too. And I lived like right on the river, so always walked to the river and all that too.
Hell yeah. When you're
Yeah.
like having layovers for cities, like you
Mhm.
said, like you're in Austin not too long ago, are you
Yeah.
able to take advantage of like being in Austin, like going out, seeing the food, the drinks, whatever, or you're just
I
kind
have
of stuck?
once in Austin just like gone out to see the food culture there. I haven't gone out to, we actually do stay in a hotel that's like right by the bars on that
Mhm.
main street. But I haven't done that because I'm usually having to be up at 3 or 4 a.m. So bars aren't usually open then. So I
Mhm.
haven't done the bars, but yeah, like on overnights, like I will go out and see the city if I have the time. Like one of my favorite cities to walk around and see is Spokane.
Really? Because I've heard horrible
Mhm.
things about Spokane.
No, like I love it up there because we stay like right on the river. There's a trail. They have really good restaurants, like quick walk from the hotel. It's not an expensive city either. Like that's the thing when you think about Austin, San Diego, all that, like it's expensive to go
Yeah.
out and do stuff. So Spokane's like really reasonable. I actually bought this sweatshirt in Spokane on the overnight because I go shopping too because I don't care. And so I'll just like buy clothes if I have the time to. And so I'll just like go venture out. I usually go to the gym if I have the time. And then lately I've been packing my meals because I'm trying to like eat so much protein and stuff and like eat healthy while out flying and like eat my vegetables. But if I'm in cities like that where I know I like the food and have enough time, like I won't bring a meal for that night and I'll go out to eat. So
You're probably the first person that's like Spokane, good food.
I went to like this Irish pub they have there and it's so much fun. If you put $1 on the wall and stand up on the bar and sing a song, you get like half off beers for the rest of your life.
How do they know it's you? Like they take down your name?
I guess so. I haven't done it, but it's like on the menu.
I was gonna hope you had a story about you doing it.
They're like, "Do you want to stand on the bar and sing a song so you can get half off?" And I'm like, "No, I'll pay for it."
Just hammered.
No, I was doing dry January when I was there actually, so I was not on the bar.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been getting really fucked up one day a week, which honestly is not a move. I don't know.
No. Hangovers hit me differently over 30 now, so I try to limit it.
I get pretty ruthless hangovers too. Granted, I drink way too much. Like tonight, I'm only drinking because it was my last night. Like I went to like the one last bar, but I've also only had 2 beers, so I'm like guilty about it.
I mean, I've had 2 glasses of wine, so it's fine.
Yeah. What's your go-to? You like reds? You like whites?
I'm kind of shocked I'm not drinking a white wine right now. I was drinking a red wine, but when it's hot out, like I love a rosé or white wine because it's just cold and like
More
that
refreshing.
is like refreshing. But I've been drinking a red wine this week, which is kind of shocking. So
I don't get into wine, but I like red far more than white. I think white's consistently too sweet.
you need to drink a drier one then.
Yeah, I'm also just never like a go-to wine guy. I found like some reds that I'll enjoy. So like especially the ones that are like they put them like aged in like a bourbon barrel and like they'll have a nice little kind of like almost like a bourbony smoky flavor. I
Yeah,
like
there's
bourbons more or whiskeys more.
yeah, I actually was thinking about making a margarita for this because did you know, have you ever had Casamigos?
I have.
So there's a dupe out for Casamigos. It's the Costco Blanco.
Yeah, the Costco, the Kirkland vodka, and they're money.
It's like a dupe for Casamigos, and I have that. And then I bought the Casamigos. They sell mixes of Casamigos stuff to mix with their vodka or tequila, and you buy them at Williams Sonoma. So I got one a few weeks ago. That's like a blackberry one, I think.
Not bad.
But I was like thinking of making that with like a tahini rim. So, but maybe I'll do that
I
after.
can't stand the salt rims. I'm so anti-salt rim.
I like the tahini rim. I don't like I like the salt if it's like a sweeter drink. So sometimes I need that to balance it. Because I'm more of a skinny margarita person. Like I'm not just the house margarita because they put all this like
The
sugar
agave and all the sugar and shit.
I
Yeah.
don't mind the agave, but I don't like when they do the like sour mix. I hate that.
Well, like a little bit. I like a stronger drink. So like I don't mind like the margarita if they make it strong, because then the sour's a little bit less powerful.
And then I hate a margarita that they put orange juice in. That doesn't belong.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
some places will put like some orange juice with the sour and like the lime and agave and tequila.
What?
It's so bad.
No, that ain't for me.
No, I hate it. So
Damn.
skinny margaritas or spicy are my
What's
go-to.
skinny versus normal?
So a skinny is like just made out of like lime juice.
So
Like you fresh squeezed.
that sounds way better than a normal marg.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then like agave. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Do you have any stories you can think of from like camp days? I was like trying to think. I can't like off the top of my head, like there's nothing that like stands out. So that's really great for the pod.
Probably stories I shouldn't tell.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all are over there sleeping in y'all's little cabins while we are all raging at Braze. I don't even think it's called Braze anymore.
I don't know. I don't know what the bar was called there. But like, I remember hearing like the stories like when I got like towards the end of camp of like all the cows were just getting after it and stuff.
Yeah, we were uncivilized.
How'd you like handle like the next day not being hungover as fuck?
Oh, I was. A lot of us were, majority of the time. And
That's
it's
what I'm saying. Like, how'd you guys?
the waterfront, like being on those docks, just rocking and stuff. But honestly, we always like would make sure we never got too bad. Like usually on our nights off is when we were the worst, just because we hadn't been off in a while, or like days off too.
Mhm.
And you just come back and go to sleep and just go to work the next day. Because usually when you came back from like a night off or anything, you like didn't have to do like an early wake up to like go to dock duty or anything. So like you usually lucked out when it came to that.
How'd you even find Taco in the first place?
Jesse. Do you remember Jesse?
Yeah, yeah. You knew her from
Yeah.
growing up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we were good friends in college. And she mentioned it. I was like, yeah, I'll apply. And then went.
How many years were you there for?
Just 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I did it between junior and senior year of college, and then after I graduated. So.
And you went to what, UGA?
Mm-hmm.
That had to be unreal.
I wonder how I survived sometimes, to be honest, when I look back at it. But, life's a journey.
Yeah, I want to go to a UGA game. My little sister's now at Ohio State. She's going in her
Ooh.
sophomore or junior year. I'm not sure. But I went to a game last year, which was fun. But I want to go again this year. But the SEC is just, it's something special too.
Yeah, it's a different breed.
Yeah.
We don't do like NFL down here. We do
NFL's I'd rather go to college football games every time. Like I've been to a few now.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to go to like all the different like I went to like an Indiana game, I went to an Ohio State game. Those might be the only 2.
If there is like any Georgia game you went to, there's 2 I would recommend, either like the Georgia Florida game because it happens every year in
In
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, yeah.
And like it's just a whole different, like they have to have it on neutral territory. And then the Auburn Georgia game's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. No, I want to go to more games. I'm definitely gonna try to go to. I have a few friends that go to UGA, so I might try to go visit there.
I haven't been back to Athens since 2016, 2017.
How far is that from you? I'd say like what, a couple hours?
It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Game day is just a pain to drive to and leave the same day, honestly. Because there's no like major interstate that goes to Athens. It's like back roads and then the interstate. So the traffic is just like horrendous for a solid hour. And then you finally get on the interstate and then you still have like another hour to go. So it just makes like it so much longer to get there and everything. So I just don't go back.
Bloomington, Indiana is like in the middle of fucking.
It's one of my favorite overnights at Endeavor.
Yeah, it's cool. I love the like driving there to like we were in Louisville and we are at the bars. I'm like, dude, there's an Indiana homecoming. Let's just go. Fuck it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
that's a good town. Like they have like a nice trail and everything. Like walking the campus was super nice. They don't have like many bars, but
yeah,
they have a few. So
no, it was sick. And like we only were there for the game. Like we went to the game, had a couple beers, and went back to Louisville. But some sorority girls like behind us like trying to get us to go to the bars, and we're like, be a bad idea. I don't know.
Like 2 or 3 that I knew of, like right where we used to stay at Endeavor. Southwest doesn't fly in there, but that was like one of my top towns.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But it is like outside of Bloomington, like the college, like there ain't fucking shit there.
There's nothing else there. And it was dead during the summer when like campus was like closed and stuff. It was so dead.
No, I'm sure. You still going to college football games at all?
Yeah, my parents have Auburn season tickets still. So
Auburn tickets?
Yeah, I grew up an Auburn fan. but I went to Georgia.
That's nutty.
Yeah, because like Auburn is 45 minutes away from my hometown across the state line.
Mm-hmm.
So we still go down there for the games. Like, I actually went to the Auburn Georgia game this past year. I flew back from Boise to go to that game, and went to that in Auburn because we had
Yeah.
tickets. So yeah, like I'll still go to games with them if I have a Saturday off. The past few years, I haven't really had many Saturdays off, so I haven't gone to games. It just is a full day thing. So if I go, like, I want to make sure like I have everything else I want to do done and
Yeah.
stuff, you know. So there's
There's like
really good college bars here in Atlanta. Like, what I mean by college bars is like this bar is in Atlanta, or like an Auburn bar. This bar is a Georgia bar. So like you can go and have like watch parties there and all that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, but there's something different about like it's fall, like the leaves are changing a bit, like it's
Mhm.
football time, like going to the game,
Cooling
like
off. Yeah, it feels so nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my favorite time of year, honestly.
like late September to like early November. Like there's no like this is gonna
Yeah.
sound soft, but like the pumpkin beer, the ambiance is just tough to beat.
Okay, if you like pumpkin beer, you have to try this. So you rim a glass with like either honey or maple syrup. I do the maple syrup because it hardens, it doesn't drip like honey. And then you mix cinnamon and sugar
Yep.
and dip the like maple syrup rim in that, just kind of like how you're like salting a margarita glass. You pour the pumpkin beer in, and it's so good.
So the restaurant I used to work at used to do that, so we used to have those. But
It's so good.
it's definitely good. I don't know. I just
That's
love
like
fall.
at the end of the night. So
Say it again.
that's like my little treat at the end of the night during like the fall and stuff.
Oh
So,
yeah. I don't know.
but
Usually when I go out now, it's like I'm not just having like one nice beer. It's like that one weekend night, I'm getting kind of getting after it like an idiot. But I don't know.
So if I go out, I don't go out, so I don't know.
I need to go on more dates. Like I've tried going on some dates around here, and there's very few girls like in their 20s that are like working or can have a conversation. It's either college or like over 35, over 45.
There's a college there.
Yeah, Coastal's not far.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't gone on dates here.
You got to.
I just want to do my own thing. So
Gotcha.
it'll happen.
Exactly. No, I'm trying to. I know. Silva came out and pigeon tossed me early in the pod with the transition. No reason. I don't know. No, there's not. I think I'm surprised because like I thought they were gonna like make fun of me because like hooking up with like an older woman here because there's not a lot of younger ones. So like I thought that's where they're gonna bang me, but
oh, it happens.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm not like going on my way to do that, but it has happened.
Oh well. You live and you learn.
Live and you learn.
You're still young. So.
Exactly.
But yeah.
I don't know. You want to close up shop? Anything else you have before we
No, I think y'all got out all the aviation things out of me. I normally don't talk about this much about flying, so
No, it was really cool. No, I appreciate you coming on.
You're welcome. It's been a blast. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Well, we'll speak to you soon.
Sounds good.